Drop rates. It's fascinating. If you lurk on Discord, you have probably already seen a few comments like this one. In fact, you may have seen a lot of them. A lot. And that is because drop rates are a very interesting piece of information. They define how fast you can progress in the game, but since they rely on randomness, you often see people complaining about them, saying that drop rates are rigged or unfair. But this begs the question, what are actually the drop rates in LEGO Legacy? So to answer that question, I started tracking my tiles drop rates for 4 heroes: Locust, Cold, Lackey and the Chef. And then I classified them based on their location. And this data tells us a few interesting things. The first one is that overall, the drop rate for tiles seems to be around 30%. Over almost 1500 tries, my drop rate has been 29.95%, which is close enough to 30%. And I believe that the devs would choose a rounded number, in this case 30%, rather than 29.95. So I can say with confidence that the drop rate for tiles is around 30%. And notice I said drop rate and not drop rates. That's because there doesn't seem to be any difference across different game modes. Of course we get slight statistical variations, but overall the drop rate still seems to gravitate around the 30% mark for all the game modes. Now granted, I did not test every single game mode, but from what we can see here, we can guess that it's pretty much 30% across the board. And that brings us to a next question. Do drop rates change over time? You may have already seen comments claiming that drop rates have been changed, after a patch or a new event is released, for instance. And if Chuck Norris says so, then I guess it's true? Well, yes, but actually no. I don't think that drop rates change over time, and here are 4 reasons why I believe this. The first one is that Abox, the game director, said that they don't. And so far he's never lied to me, so I do believe him. Second reason is that it would be very time consuming for the devs to change the drop rates all the time. And even if they used an algorithm, they would have to spend money and resources into building that algorithm in the first place. And I don't think that this is all worth it for them. 3. It would be counterintuitive for players to not have fixed drop rates. And clarity for players is one of the pillars of game design, so changing drop rates around would not be a good move for Gameloft. And 4. Cognitive bias. To explain this one, I'll reuse an example. You probably know the music streaming platform Spotify. Well, you see, before 2014, Spotify had an issue. Many people would complain that its shuffle feature was not random. For those who don't know, shuffle is the feature that mixes your playlist based on random order. But people were saying it was rigged to favor some artists and increase their revenue. Now, Spotify was puzzled by this, since the algorithm for shuffle was, in fact, truly random. So in 2014, a young Spotify engineer started changing the shuffle algorithm, making it not random, but made to look like it was. One of the main changes was that Spotify would avoid putting too many songs from the same artist in a row, spacing them across the shuffled playlist instead. And it worked. Complaints stopped and people were happy with the new random shuffle that was, in fact, not random at all. Now if you wonder what's the link with drop rates, the explanation is easy. Human beings do not understand randomness. We are taught from a very young age to recognize and use patterns, so much in fact that we often see patterns where there are none. So the next time someone tells you that the game is rigging the highwayman drops, you will know that it's more likely they are not correctly understanding randomness. They will see 0 drops over 12 tries and will instantly assume that the drop rates have been lowered. But if you actually take a look at the numbers like I did, then you can see the bigger picture. And this bigger picture points at one idea, the idea that drop rates are 30% for tiles. Now you're probably wondering, but what about the gear drop rates? Well, from what I've seen and based on other similar games, it seems to be around 20%, but I haven't had time to check that out yet. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask away. You can also join me in the Dev Tracker Discord for the freshest news and dev comments. See you next time.